if you need stupid rules, you got stupid people. So I think if we got people that are more are showing the tendency to do that, a small operational change and giving them, some sort of incentive. We're going to look into operations. Now that we're putting things into the system, as you're going to be doing the work, the system is going to be tracking for you, so then the operations will be easier to track. But we could do a rundown of even sort of current state, active projects that we have, backlog value, projects behind, and then kind of simplify the number of inputs that we need to do if particular ones are tough to get, because I just want to get us into the groove of tracking things and going from there. Can we over-optimize the parts being ideal? Yes. But stupid people will still figure out ways how to break even a good system. So if you need stupid rules, you got stupid people. I think if we got people that are more are showing the tendency to do that, a small operational change and giving them, some sort of incentive. Thing that I want to get you to is kind of similar to what we have with clients. Like Steven is able to handle an entire client relationship for us, and we don't have to think about it much, which is the dream, right? So you onboard a client and you plug it in, and Steven takes him and escalates only when, there's a problem that's outside of his pay grade, right? Rarely, but that's most of the time the case. And that's something that we need to simulate with you, which is like you get a job assigned to the guy and he's away with it. And he's responsible for the P&L of the job itself, making sure he does the pre-site visit, kind of schedules it for himself, et cetera, and kind of goes through that. I think if we can do that operationally on the project side, the system side, like, sure, yes, it will help, but like operationally, I think that'll be a big unlock for you. If you can just get someone who's been a project manager / senior tech / whatever we want to call this person, and get someone fully into that role. So even, 30% of the jobs are handled by this person, 50% of the jobs are handled by this person, and then over time, we establish that at a position, and then 0% of jobs are handled by Joe. Joe is just the escalation piece for any of the 2-3 people that are effectively the senior techs. Our priority number one is if we can increase your top line without you adding people, that's where you're going to make the most amount of money. And that's something we focus on. And then number two is if we can get the executive team time back so they can focus on growing the company instead of dealing with fires. That's usually the second way they're going to make the most amount of money. And then the priority three is the cost reduction. If we can remove, or increase capacity of specific team members by automating portions of their job, that's, what's going to happen. If you guys were a 5,000 person company, this would likely be the first thing that we would go after because, but even at current volume.
Because there's executives, there's structure already.
Correct.
Teams and managers and stuff. Yeah.
Correct. But that's our focus. So this is how it's going to work.
Middle one is important for us.
Yes, very important. And the way we think about it is the way that your company is going to grow is if the 3 best salesmen in the company, which is you guys running the business, can focus more time on how do we market, how do we sell, how do we upsell, how do we structure the service differently, and just think about that instead of deliverables, that's how the company will end up growing. We don't even have to change anything else, right? Yeah, so we just wrapped up a demo call with a new client that they're just going to start onboarding with us. And we built them a full, obviously, company brain, subsystem analysis, and then a prototype. And they've decided to actually start onboarding with us. The unique thing we did for them is, since they have multiple services, we were capturing multiple things within their initial prototype. So it wasn't just one service that we were looking to hit on. So it was a bit larger in scope than what we normally do for these sort of audits. But because we've done such a good job, they've been very happy with what they saw. And we're now going to start rolling out or start building out the system for them from the prototype in the next week or so. So really, really happy with how it went and the client liked it. Right now, the next thing that I have is another demo call with a health company. The unique thing about them is that everything needs to be HIPAA compliant because we're dealing with patient records. So that's one of the things that's kind of unique about them. So you'll see some specifics about that demo in the next segment. This is a prototype, a visual prototype on our end of basically an MVP of a system that we could build out for you. Has a couple of things in terms of sidebar, so scheduling, administration, and treatment plans. We took our best swing in terms of just the graphs and the stats that we want to see. These are obviously very flexible in terms of what we want to do, but the core thing is we have a list of all the clients that we can see, and then the core thing is for us is because it's a single source of truth, when we click on a client, we're able to see all the important information about them, their emergency contacts, their intakes, all of their sessions, all of their treatment plans linked in together and kind of through here, and then all of their kind of important informations. From then on, you can go into scheduling as another segment. So these are all the intake forms that we had. So we can see, hey, we have 77 open tasks, 46 news, and then a 29% conversion rate, or whatever the core numbers that we want. We can see all their information, therapist assignment. This is sort of what we saw, we're talking about. So preferred therapist, assigned therapists, preferred times, insurance providers, therapy goals, presenting issues, all the sessions they have ever done, etc. So seeing all of this data under the same roof, and then the actual sessions themselves. So these are individual sessions that you're able to see: session volume trend, attendance rates, cancellations, number of sessions, etc. When you click into each individual one, or this one's not built out, but you get the gist of seeing all of this here, being able to filter out these by clients, etc., etc., etc. Then we get into the core thing, which is the actual administration of the actual therapist. So seeing the list of all the therapists that we have and all of their applications that we got, and how we can basically track their credentials, track their license number, track everything that is related to them, and then track that pipeline over time, so we can see who's in which stage, how long does that stage take, etc., etc., etc. Insurance providers, kind of same idea. We can see who's getting the revenue from where, number of clients that are on each, and you get the gist. I can spend some more time going through this. You'll get a link through this so you can sort of play around and kind of mingle with this. But that's our idea of the prototype. This has more than what we originally want to build.
You're seeing every single possible thing we could add. The focus at the start would be just the life cycle, the hiring funnel, through to the offer and application side.
Our expected time to launch is anywhere between 30 and 45 days, depending on the size of the company. And the build itself doesn't take that long. The reason why we always kind of have that buffer is actually the data migration and the data confirmation that we need to do when transferring over data from their previous systems. And usually that always takes time, some data mapping and data cleaning. And that's why it's usually a buffer, but usually within 30 to 45 days, they're going to get a system ready to go that they can log in, get their team onto, and start launching. In terms of where we are and what are we working on, you guys saw a couple of new clients come in and confirm their new builds. So the prototypes you've been building over the past couple of weeks have been fruitful and people like them. So we got a couple of new clients onboarding.
For the devs, share ideas with David in terms of how the dev workflow could not just produce cleaner code in terms of architecture and bug freeness, but also in terms of the front end design, like some of the components on the front end that could either make the user experience better or reduce bugs before they happen in terms of usability. And then on the business analyst side, Mauro and then Steven when he gets back, ideas on how we can improve the customer experience. So that's things like how the calls work, how the Slack works. If there's I know we have like a client portal plan for us to have the client stakeholders be able to like submit their own tickets and see the roadmap live and something like that. So you guys share ideas with me, devs share ideas with David, and then for everybody, if we're doing cool things, we have both Damir in Split and Luca in Zagreb in terms of creating content. So we have more capacity to share what we're doing as well if it's really, really cool stuff. So
Cool. That is it for the first team call of the year. Really, really excited for this year. I want everyone to have a good day, a good week, a good month, and then a good year. And then if anyone needs any feedback, you know where to reach us. And that's pretty much it. Everyone have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one.
see everybody.
Awesome. Take care, guys.